The concept of the energy war captures more than just a technological rivalry. It symbolizes a philosophical divide between two radically different visions of the future. On one side stands Elon Musk, a figure synonymous with large-scale innovation and corporate power, whose ventures like Tesla and SpaceX have redefined industries and captured the global imagination. On the other side is Maxwell Chikumbutso, a self-taught inventor from Zimbabwe, whose work defies conventional science and challenges the world's understanding of how energy can be produced and used. Their contrast reflects the deeper tension between two worlds: the structured, institutionalized systems of innovation and the grassroots ingenuity that thrives in the shadows of limited resources. The energy war becomes a mirror for how humanity chooses to advance, through the machinery of profit and policy or through the raw power of unfiltered creativity. Elon Musk's vision for the future of energy is built on the belief that humanity's survival depends on its ability to replace unsustainable systems with renewable, scalable alternatives. His journey, from co-founding Tesla to establishing SolarCity and pushing the boundaries of space exploration with SpaceX, is a reflection of a calculated yet passionate mission to revolutionize how the world produces and consumes energy. At the heart of Musk's strategy lies a simple principle: energy independence through clean technology. Every innovation he pursues connects to this central goal, forming a network of ideas designed to reduce the planet's reliance on fossil fuels while simultaneously proving that sustainability and profitability can coexist. His projects aren't random experiments but deliberate steps toward a unified ecosystem that he envisions as the backbone of a sustainable civilization on Earth and beyond. Tesla stands as the centerpiece of Musk's vision. The company's electric vehicles are more than just cars. They represent a fundamental rethinking of transportation. By creating a global network of superchargers and developing powerful batteries capable of long-range travel, Musk has made electric mobility accessible and desirable. But his ambitions extend beyond the automotive industry. The same battery technology powering Tesla's vehicles fuels Powerwalls and power packs, storage systems that allow homes, businesses, and even entire communities to harness and store renewable energy. This integration of mobility, storage, and sustainability forms the cornerstone of Musk's concept of a self-sufficient, carbon-neutral society. SolarCity, later merged into Tesla Energy, complements this vision by capturing the sun's energy and transforming it into usable power. Musk imagines a world where every rooftop becomes a small power plant, each contributing to a decentralized grid capable of sustaining itself without relying on large, polluting power stations. His introduction of the solar roof, which replaces conventional roofing materials with solar tiles, redefines the idea of renewable integration, making sustainability not just functional but beautiful and practical. This reflects his understanding that for any green technology to succeed, it must appeal to both logic and lifestyle. Beyond Earth, Musk's focus on SpaceX and its renewable rocket technology carries the same philosophy of efficiency and reusability. His ambition to colonize Mars is not merely a dream of space travel, but an extension of his vision for energy resilience, a civilization capable of sustaining itself wherever it goes. The development of reusable rockets mirrors his approach to sustainable energy systems on Earth: minimize waste, maximize longevity, and create systems that regenerate value instead of depleting it. What distinguishes Musk's vision is not just the technology but the ecosystem he builds around it. His ability to align massive industries, automotive, energy, aerospace, and infrastructure, under one cohesive purpose gives his movement momentum and credibility. He transforms climate responsibility into innovation and innovation into a global brand of progress. Through this integrated strategy, Musk has become a symbol of structured evolution, a reminder that the future of energy, in his eyes, will not come from sudden miracles, but from systems engineered to make sustainability inevitable. Elon Musk's approach represents the path of systemic transformation. He operates within established global frameworks, leveraging investors, markets, and governments to create solutions that scale. His companies embody precision, data, and engineering discipline, with every innovation fitting neatly into a business model designed for mass adoption. Musk's strategy has always been about building ecosystems, electric cars that connect to solar roofs, powered by batteries produced in gigafactories, all working together to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. His vision is practical and scalable, designed to align environmental responsibility with economic incentive. In his world, progress must make business sense to survive. Maxwell Chikumbutso, in contrast, represents the raw and untamed side of human invention. Without access to vast capital or elite laboratories, he claims to have created technologies that defy conventional logic, such as vehicles powered without external charging, radio frequency generators producing continuous power, and drones operating independently of fuel or grid systems. His inventions, if validated, suggest a paradigm shift so profound that it could collapse existing energy industries overnight. For Maxwell, innovation is not about market competition but about liberation, freeing humanity from the chains of dependency that tie electricity and fuel to centralized systems of control. His work speaks to the idea that brilliance can emerge from anywhere, and that genius is not limited by geography or privilege. Between these two men lies the essence of the energy war. It's not merely a question of who will win, but of which philosophy will define the future. Musk's structured innovation thrives on scalability and trust, principles that appeal to governments, investors, and consumers who seek predictability. Maxwell's independent experimentation, on the other hand, challenges the very foundation of that system, daring to imagine a future where energy is free, abundant, and beyond corporate reach. The clash between them, even if indirect, symbolizes a global crossroads where humanity must decide whether to evolve through control or through freedom. This invisible battle, fought not on battlefields but in laboratories, boardrooms, and media narratives, is shaping how we will live, work, and survive in the century of energy transformation. Maxwell Chikumbutso's revolution in energy represents the dream of complete independence from conventional power systems. Unlike industrial giants or government-funded laboratories, Maxwell's approach comes from a place of resourcefulness, curiosity, and the raw drive to create something that could change the world without relying on established infrastructures. His work defies traditional physics and challenges the principles upon which modern energy systems are built. At the core of his innovations lies a vision where every individual, household, and machine can generate its own power, a future free from the constraints of electric grids, fuel supply chains, and profit-driven energy monopolies. This idea is not just technical, it's profoundly human. It speaks to freedom, equality, and empowerment for regions and people historically left behind in the global technological race. One of the most striking aspects of Maxwell's story is his claim to have developed self-powered machines, including vehicles that can operate indefinitely without external charging. He has demonstrated prototypes that use electromagnetic frequencies to produce continuous energy, effectively bypassing the need for conventional batteries or fossil fuels. To many, such technology seems almost impossible, a direct challenge to what science has long accepted. Yet, what makes Maxwell's work compelling is the persistence behind it. Despite skepticism, he continues to demonstrate his inventions, often in the face of limited recognition or support. His motivation appears not to be wealth or fame but a belief that energy should be accessible to everyone, regardless of geography or economic status. If Maxwell's devices truly function as claimed, their implications are staggering. They would render traditional energy industries obsolete, disrupt the global economy, and redefine how societies are powered. Imagine rural communities in Africa, Asia, or South America where electricity is scarce or unstable suddenly becoming self-sufficient. Homes, schools, and hospitals running on endless clean power. The transformative effect would go beyond technology. It would alter education, healthcare, and opportunity, giving millions a chance to progress without waiting for centralized infrastructure. His vision democratizes power, literally and figuratively, shifting control from corporations and governments to individuals. What sets Maxwell apart is his unconventional path to discovery. Without formal engineering training or elite academic credentials, his knowledge comes from experimentation and intuition. This self-taught mastery of energy systems challenges the global assumption that innovation must come from well-funded labs or corporate research centers. It is innovation born from necessity, not luxury. His story embodies the idea that invention does not require permission, and that the future may not always be shaped by those with the most resources, but by those with the most determination to solve real problems. Maxwell's revolution represents a philosophical challenge as much as a technical one. It forces the world to reconsider its dependence on centralized systems and question whether progress must always be tethered to profit. His dream is of a world where electricity flows freely like air, where innovation serves humanity rather than controlling it, and where energy, the lifeblood of civilization, becomes a universal right instead of a commodity. The global power struggle that defines the modern energy landscape is not just about technology or innovation, but about who holds control over the most essential resource of civilization: energy itself. For centuries, energy has been a tool of influence, shaping economies, politics, and even the destinies of nations. From the dominance of oil empires to the rise of electricity networks, control over energy has meant control over people. This underlying truth forms the silent battlefield in the energy war between visionaries like Elon Musk and Maxwell Chikumbutso. Their differing approaches highlight not only two technological paths but two opposing power dynamics, one rooted in global systems of production and distribution, the other in localized, independent generation that threatens to dismantle those very systems. Elon Musk represents the evolution of structured power. His model seeks to reform the system from within, replacing the old fossil fuel-driven order with a cleaner, yet still centralized, renewable infrastructure. Tesla's gigafactories, vast solar installations, and global charging networks are designed to create a new kind of energy empire, one based on sustainability but still operating through ownership, scalability, and economic integration. In Musk's world, progress comes through managed transition. The corporations of tomorrow may be greener, but they will still govern energy through systems of production and trade. This approach ensures stability, reliability, and widespread adoption, but it also means that power remains concentrated in the hands of a few technological giants capable of maintaining and managing those systems. Maxwell Chikumbutso's vision challenges this structure at its core. His idea of self-sustaining energy devices, cars that never need to be charged, homes that generate their own power endlessly, represents a direct rebellion against centralized control. If such technology were to become accessible and replicable, it could end the monopoly of both fossil fuel and renewable corporations. Governments that rely on energy revenues would lose leverage, and global industries built around energy distribution could collapse. It's a vision that promises liberation for individuals, but threatens the stability of current economic and political systems. That's why many of Maxwell's ideas are met with resistance or skepticism, not just because they're scientifically radical, but because they disrupt an entire global hierarchy built on dependency. This struggle extends far beyond the laboratories and companies involved. It reaches into policy, media, and even the psychology of society. The narrative of what is possible or real is often shaped by those who benefit from maintaining the status quo. Large corporations and institutions have the means to validate, discredit, or suppress technologies that might undermine their interests. Meanwhile, inventors like Maxwell, who operate outside those systems, often find themselves isolated, struggling for legitimacy in a world that measures credibility through institutional approval. The question then becomes not whether such technologies work, but whether the world is ready for them to exist. The global power struggle over energy is, therefore, a fight between dependency and freedom. One model promises structured progress under powerful leadership, the other, an uncertain revolution that could make every person their own energy provider. It is a battle between control and empowerment, between preserving order and unleashing true independence, a silent war that will ultimately determine who shapes the destiny of human civilization. The story of innovation is often told as a celebration of creativity and discovery, but beneath that inspiring narrative lies a harsh reality. Recognition is rarely distributed equally. Maxwell Chikumbutso's journey illustrates this divide with striking clarity. While his inventions have drawn attention for their boldness and potential, he has not received the same acknowledgement or credibility that innovators from wealthier, more connected parts of the world often enjoy. His experiences reveal how global innovation is shaped not only by talent and ideas, but also by visibility, access, and validation from systems of power. The battle between innovation and recognition is one that inventors like Maxwell fight daily, where proving their worth becomes more difficult than creating the invention itself. In the established world of technology and science, recognition is tightly linked to networks, funding, and institutions. Inventors backed by corporations, universities, or government grants have platforms that guarantee their discoveries are tested, published, and protected. Elon Musk, for instance, operates within a framework that amplifies his every move. His projects are backed by investors, analyzed by media, and endorsed by experts who reinforce his authority. His ideas reach millions because he stands atop a system built to sustain visibility. Maxwell, on the other hand, comes from a background without these privileges. His work, no matter how groundbreaking, struggles to reach the same stage. Without mainstream institutional backing, his inventions are often dismissed, labeled as unverified, or ignored by the scientific establishment that demands evidence through expensive, formalized testing that individuals like him can rarely afford. This disparity highlights a deeper issue. Innovation is often judged not by its impact, but by who presents it. The world tends to believe in technology when it comes from Silicon Valley or a famous laboratory, but doubts it when it arises from an independent inventor in Africa or another underrepresented region. This bias doesn't just limit recognition, it limits progress itself. Countless potential breakthroughs may be buried under skepticism simply because the inventors lack access to platforms that legitimize their work. In Maxwell's case, his struggle for acknowledgement is not just personal, it represents the silent struggle of thousands of inventors around the world whose ideas could reshape industries if given the same trust and exposure. Media plays a powerful role in this imbalance. Narratives about innovation are often controlled by those with resources to promote them, creating heroes and symbols while others remain invisible. When an inventor like Maxwell surfaces, his claims are quickly met with scrutiny rather than curiosity, often because they threaten existing paradigms. Recognition becomes less about truth and more about maintaining comfort within the established order. The lack of institutional acceptance becomes a barrier that prevents alternative thinkers from contributing fully to the global conversation on technology and progress. The tension between innovation and recognition ultimately defines who gets to change the world. It is not always the most brilliant minds who lead revolutions, but those who can be heard. Maxwell Chikumbutso's journey reminds us that genius is not confined by geography or wealth, but recognition often is. Until the world learns to value discovery beyond the boundaries of privilege, the future of innovation will remain shaped more by perception than potential. The idea that the true future of energy lies in collaboration rather than competition represents the most hopeful path forward in the evolving struggle for technological dominance. While both Elon Musk and Maxwell Chikumbutso embody contrasting philosophies, their visions ultimately share the same goal: to liberate humanity from outdated, polluting energy systems and to create a sustainable world where power is abundant and accessible. Yet, the current system of innovation often pits visionaries against one another, as if progress must emerge from rivalry instead of unity. This mindset, deeply rooted in economic competition and intellectual ownership, slows down the very progress it seeks to accelerate. The future of energy will only reach its full potential when innovation becomes a collective mission rather than a race for control. Elon Musk's approach demonstrates the importance of large-scale execution. His projects require immense coordination, investment, and infrastructure to impact the world at a global level. Tesla, SpaceX, and SolarCity are proof that disciplined structure and organizational power can transform experimental concepts into real, functioning solutions that serve millions. His method is efficient, measurable, and reproducible, qualities necessary for mass adoption. However, such a framework often leaves little room for unconventional ideas that do not fit neatly into current models of production or profit. Maxwell Chikumbutso's inventions, if as revolutionary as claimed, exist outside that system. They are free-flowing, boundary-defying concepts that could reshape entire industries overnight. But without institutional support or collaboration, such radical breakthroughs risk being ignored, suppressed, or lost to obscurity. If both worlds were to merge, the visionary independence of Maxwell with the structural might of Musk, the potential outcome could be extraordinary. Imagine Maxwell's self-powered energy devices being scaled through Tesla's manufacturing precision, or his wireless energy systems enhanced by Musk's technological infrastructure. Together, their combined genius could dismantle the world's dependency on centralized power systems and introduce a new age of decentralized, clean energy. Such collaboration would transcend borders, ideologies, and even egos, proving that progress belongs to humanity, not individuals. It would also demonstrate that innovation should not be a battlefield, but a bridge, connecting ideas, not dividing them. The importance of this unity extends beyond the two men themselves. It symbolizes the need for a new global mindset, one that encourages open-source innovation, shared research, and cooperative advancement. The problems facing humanity, from climate change to resource inequality, are too vast for isolated efforts. When inventors, corporations, and governments choose competition over collaboration, they delay the solutions that could save lives and ecosystems. By breaking down the walls that separate independent thinkers from institutional power, the world could unlock an era of progress defined not by who owns the invention, but by how many benefit from it. The energy of the future should not be a privilege guarded by a few but a birthright shared by all. Collaboration between visionaries like Maxwell and Musk would set an example of what true innovation can achieve: technology that serves humanity first, not profit. The day science, creativity, and compassion align will mark the real beginning of a sustainable world, where progress is no longer a contest but a collective victory.